So we are lucky at Unilever because we actually live on the shoulder of giants. The very first brands of the lever side, at least, of the business, the side that has given the name to the company, were actually brands with a social conscience. If you think about it, brands like Sunlight, brands like Lifebuoy, were ambitiously all about making basic health and hygiene become commonplace. But at the same time, this question of purpose is really something that continues to inspire us, not just for those brands that actually we've inherited and that are really embedding a social conscience, but also, for all our brand portfolio. And so the question is fundamentally, why do we do this? And we do it, to start with, because it makes sense. It makes sense business-wise. I mean, a lot of the brands that I'm going to talk to you about are some of our fastest growing brands. They're part of our billion-euro brands. The Stengel 50 Index talks about, and it does include several of our brands, like Dove, does talk about the commercial benefit of having a strong purpose at the core of your brand. So that's the first reason why we do it. Why we do it is because we believe it's the right thing to do for the business. But it's also the right thing to do for society. It's the right thing to do for the planet. And it does actually represent more of a moral conviction and obligation also at the same time to actually contribute to making the world a better place, to improve the life of the people we serve. Rethinking the way we do marketing, we call it crafting brands for life, to actually put people, brands with purpose and magic, as we say, but really putting purposeful brand at the heart of our marketing strategy. The reality is we need to forget about consumers. Consumers were a bad idea to start with. Consumers are dead. You are not consumers. You are people. You're only consumers a very short fraction of your day. And you don't want to be considered, to be told, to be labeled as a consumer. We continue to, all our vocabulary talks about them in a way which is not considering them as human beings. We call them target groups. I've said that many times, as if we wanted to shoot them. This name we give them, the audience, the people formerly known as the audience is no longer listening. And so we really need to, and it's important internally for our marketeers, it's important for the moral approach that we have when we market our brands, when we position our brand, is really thinking about people as human beings. And as I often say, marketers and advertisers are human beings too. So it's all of us, rediscovering the importance of humanity in the work we do. And then, very importantly, embed that in our pursuit, in the pursuit of our brands, because unless we understand a fundamental human insight at the very heart of the strategy of our brands, then we won't unlock a purpose. We can't do great work that actually has, a commercial reward, but also does indeed tackle something meaningful for the people that actually we serve. So if you take a brand like Ben & Jerry, which, how many of you know Ben & Jerry? So, I mean, it's a pretty well-known brand. Again, Ben & Jerry is lucky because it's a brand that was born with a purpose. So we actually use what we call, we've rethought the way we position our brands inside Unilever, and we use what we call a brand love triangle, a brand to actually articulate the product truth, to really start with the idea that Ben & Jerry's is basically a product that is based on values. It's a values-based business, the best possible ice cream made in the best possible way. But then we actually go and we try to find a real human truth. The fact that fundamentally people do aspire to a world with more justice and prosperity for all, and that when they get involved, actually it makes them feel good. And based on that, we say, so who are we really talking about as a brand? And we say, basically it's the aspiring activist in all of us. And that leads us to say, well, actually a brand like Ben & Jerry, and I'm taking this brand because I know you know it, is actually this idea that fundamentally values-based business with a little bit on top of it of light-hearted fun can actually tackle and help us tackle some of the most difficult issues of society. I'd like to finish with one more thing which has not been launched in Australia, but the ultimate pursuit of purpose for Unilever is actually something we're doing with the corporate brand, the Unilever brand. And we started in 5 markets last year on Universal Children's Day on the 20th of November, a day that the UNICEF proclaimed to preserve the rights of the generations to come, to actually engage our corporate brand to pursue not the mission of our ancestors to make cleanliness commonplace, but to make sustainable living commonplace and start to change the paradigm from the future is doom and gloom to the future is actually bright, and engage the totality of our brands into actually taking those purposeful pursuits that they have started individually to collectively create change at the scale of a corporation like Unilever. Engaging multiple partners, our foundation partners, our retail partners, our media partners in those 5 markets, which were India, Indonesia, UK, US, and Brazil, to actually turn around and drive a change of perspective and engage people into action around this idea that small actions matter and that we can all participate. We all need to change our behavior if we want to make sustainable living a reality.